everyone. Today we will be discussing the two most influential and popular books in America and comparing and contrasting their various viewpoints.
I will be introducing you to William H. White's revolutionary book, The Organization Man.
And I will show you how the book I brought with us today, On the Road, by the brilliant author Jack Kerouac, is much better than White's rough draft.
Yes.
Okay, let's begin with On the Road.
The beat counterculture to our society and its pivotal role in shaping our country and our world.
So On the Road is comparable to The Organization Man in that they both discuss counterculture that has inhabited in these late 1950s?
Yes and no. For one, The Organization Man does talk a lot about all the conformity, discipline, and teamwork that has enveloped our great nation over these past few years. However, White also clearly states that individuality is key to success and people should rebel and act on their own original ideas more.
Lame. On the Road is a heartwarming novel that warms the hearts of our readers while also playing off the direct parallelism to real-life beat culture figures, such as Neil Cassidy. It also provides many examples for the beat countercultural staples such as jazz music, poetry, drugs, and alcohol. Does your book do that, Tony?
No.
Okay, well, I think that just about concludes our segment for today. Thank you for tuning in, and keep reading, America.
Abstract art started in the 1930s as the abstract expressional movement. It gained popularity in the 1940s and took off in the 1950s. This movement united sculptors like David Smith and photographers like Aaron Sinkind. This movement is also known for being romantic in mood, monumental in scale, and expressing rugged individual freedom. Traditional art, also known as pop art, started in the mid-1950s and had the largest popularity in the 1960s. This art style created sculptures and paintings of mass pop icons and media stars. It also blurred the lines between high-quality art and low-quality art.
Rock music was the dominant sound of the 1950s for teenagers. It was the sound of youthful defiance. Elvis Presley was rock and roll's first real star, not to mention one of the most important cultural forces in history, a hip-shaking symbol of the liberation for America in the 1950s. Folk music grew out of that was an oral tradition. Rhythms of folk music were often changed as each new performer adapted a given song to his or her personality and performance style. Minstrel shows were very big in the 1950s. They included skits, dances, and crude jokes. Ragtime is related to some of the same interesting rhythms that were part of early jazz, but it is not really a jazz style. Swing bands often backed male singers who sang in a style known as crooning.
Welcome to KDK News at 5.
Today's discussion will be on conformities in the 1950s and the rebels. As you know, a traditional American family consists of a wife who is a homemaker, a husband that works in the workforce, but sadly the traditional American family has been disrupted due to the beat movement or the beat generation.
The beat generation first started at the University of Columbia in the late 1940s. A few days ago it took root in our local community of Pittsburgh. These beatniks, as they are called, refuse to work, usually follow Zen Buddhism, and use drugs.
How would this affect the public? Will it be hurting our economy? This new group shocks the public with their actions.
Some are looking at this beat movement as the new face of their generation. We will be sharing more later. The story here at 7.
Good night, Pittsburgh! Are you bored on a Saturday night?
Are you looking for a book to read?
Well, here are some new great books to read.
Oh, here's a nice one. The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. This one's a great read if you like fiction.
If you want a novel, I got some for you. The Old Man in the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. And East of Eden by John Steinbeck. They're fantastic.
Absolutely. Adventure and fantasy is the place to be. You can read Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, if that sounds like a good thing for you.
All of these are your local Pittsburgh library and so much more.
We have novels, tragedies, realistic fiction, irregular fiction, romance, and action. We even have children's books for your kids.
See you there.